Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies. And today we're doing another Masterchef review of 2 episodes because they're playing catch up. And Marco says they're already advertising for the next edition of Hell's Kitchen. So they've got to rush this through so they can get to that show.
We actually didn't see any Hell's Kitchen advertisement the whole 2 hours, so I thought that was weird. Like, in fact, I don't know, because I don't really pay attention to the stupid commercials. It's like I used to watch the commercials, but there's so many commercials, and I don't care about any of them, and so I just ignore them because there's just too many, and I don't appreciate it, so I just ignore them. I'm not going to watch them.
Okay, well, anyway, this is season 23, and episode 10, it's called Beer Necessities. I'm thinking of that song from Jungle Book, but it's a play on that, but it's beer because the guest judge is Grant from the last winner of the last season, and Marco refers to him as
the beer guy.
He's also the very best of the worst.
Oh, yeah, I was like, yeah, he's the best chef from last season, as in, like, best of the worst, because they got rid of all the best chefs there. They got rid of Kyle, the barbecue guy, for a cake, just like last week. They got rid of the best person in this season based off of a cake, and they got rid of the suicidal girl for a mistake that she didn't even make herself, and then they got rid of the Ohio guy, even though he was literally the best one there, so that they could push the, LGBT contestant and put her in the finale. That was basically why they got rid of him, was so that they could fulfill a quota, and so he was really like the best of the worst. Like, his whole thing was just he likes to cook with beer because he sells beer conveniently. So it's like, of course he likes to use beer. It would be like if I had like a friend who was like the president of like the Coca-Cola company or something, and so then just conveniently in all my movies everyone would be drinking Coca-Cola the whole movie, and it would be like, yeah, of course that's that way because it's like a promotion thing. It's like, because, like, nobody likes beer in their food. Like, having beer in your food is basically, like, it's like ruining it. It's like, why would you want that except if it's, like, beer battered like fish? And even then...
Or brats.
Yeah, but even then, you don't want that all the time. So...
Not in everything, no.
I didn't like this episode. I thought that the gimmick did not really work out very well because the chefs are not very strong to begin with. I felt like the episode, and also a big thing about these episodes is that the guest judge needs to be a good actor on the show. They need to be a good entertainer, and Grant was, for some reason...
He was quiet, actually.
He went from being like this like dad contestant, like this like personable business owner, family man guy, to now he's like this silent, serious, quote-unquote professional guy. And it's like nowadays, like, people consider being a professional with being a jackass and being like really like serious, overly serious, full of yourself. And that's basically what he was like. He was like, okay, what are we going to do with the beer here? Are you going to do that? I really like that, but that was just... I mean, he was nothing like how he was last season, right, Safi? Like, wasn't that weird?
I just thought he was too serious because he
Yeah.
thinks that's what they... I think he thought that is what they expected him to be like.
That's why I don't like these episodes where the winner of the past season comes back, because sometimes they act like a completely different person. And it's like, now that they won MasterChef, they have to be a different person. And I will give Dara credit. When she came back, she did not act like that. She acted just like she acted in her own season. Because because she's a goofball, right, Safi?
Yeah,
I mean,
yes.
it's like a trading places type of situation that she got herself into. So, like, yeah. So I didn't like this episode. In fact, I was gone for a little bit of the episode because I had prior engagement. So there was a little portion of the episode that I didn't get to see.
Okay, well, I'll say they didn't just use any beer. They used Blue Moon beer.
Yeah, that was another thing I didn't like. I felt like that was like shameless promotion. I think it would have been much better if the contestants just got to choose what beer they wanted to use, because I didn't like that.
But it isn't just Blue Moon used to have one type of beer. That was it. That when it came out, because I remember when it came out, because it was I don't know. I think it was interesting bottles and the advertising and the decorative labels or whatever. But now they have a mango beer and they have these other flavors, and so they didn't just have an array. They just weren't using one kind of Blue Moon. They had, an assortment to choose from. Not a large assortment, but a few different ones. More than they had when it came out.
I know that they have different flavors because they talked about that. But what I'm saying is that I thought that it was really queer, the whole Blue Moon promotion, because it's like
yeah, but they do that.
It didn't feel right. It felt unnatural. I've never seen Gordon drink a Blue Moon. I don't think that Joe likes Blue Moon. I don't think that Aaron likes Blue Moon. I don't even think that Grant likes Blue Moon. I don't even think that Grant drinks Blue Moon. I guarantee he probably drinks his own beer. He's high on his own supply. So what I'm just saying is that, like, maybe they could have selected a beer that one of them actually liked, because it just didn't feel like it fit to me.
Okay, well, in this episode, Adam, the winner of the previous episode, what he got to do when it was the last 15 minutes of the cooking, he was allowed to pick someone who he thought would be a good cook, and it'd be a big competition. And if he took them out before they could win, then because when the person wins, the whole group, their whole age group, gets a pass. So Gen Z, I believe, is the only group that had no people who've been kicked off.
Yeah.
So he picked the cowboy. That's what I call him, because he works at a dude ranch. He's a cook for all the employees at the dude ranch, which is probably quite a few. And he was making a bread and a meat and sauce and a side, all that. And he had already gotten the bread fixed, and it was cooking in the oven. And he was doing really well. And so Adam picked him. So basically, Adam got immunity. He didn't have to participate. But then the rest of his group were subject to one of them being kicked out. So that happened at the last 15 minutes. So then we have the best cooks of each group. Now, do you remember any of them, Marco? Do you want me to try
any
to
of who? I said that I wasn't there for that part of the episode, but before we rush and get to that part, we should talk about the fact that, like, that dirt guy.
Well, I call him Mudbrain. I guess his name is Bert. I don't know. I can't figure out his name.
He made another
Mudbrain.
He made another dish with mango. That he used the mango beer. So he has some sort of an obsession with mango.
Well, if you want to know what he made a beer battered fish tacos with guacamole and a mango slaw, which I think the beer was in the tacos, the batter, and also a different one maybe in the slaw. So that's what he made, and he actually was the best one of the Gen Z. And so he'd never been up there before. He was very excited.
Yeah, and that was funny because he was a highlight of both of these episodes. It was like suddenly he got possessed by the ghost of that Masterchef who killed himself or something.
Well, I'm still calling him Mudbray because he did make a remark. But I'll say that.
But he did a good job both episodes. It is really like he got possessed by someone.
But he made this effing stupid remark at the beginning of the next episode, and I'll say what it was when we get to that.
Well, Safi, the worst person in the next episode was Horatio.
Yeah, I know,
so.
but he's still at the beginning before they even started cooking.
Horatio and Arthur.
Yeah. Okay, well that gives things away. So.
Yeah, go ahead.
Then we have Camilla. She's from the Millennials. She's the lawyer, and she made pork chops and succotash, and then she had a blackberry beer sauce. And that's what they had to make. They had to make a main dish, a side, and a sauce. So I didn't say that before. And then from Gen X, it was Arthur, and he actually was lucky, or maybe they just didn't have many to choose from that they liked, but they called it Simplicity Wins for him because he made a pan-seared cod with chard and beer. And the thing is, this was the second cod that he had put on, and they judges noticed that because it was messed up. And what happened was he pan-seared it on one side, and then he put it in the oven and let the oven cook the rest. And they were doubtful about it, but they actually picked that one when they said Simplicity Wins. They picked his of that group. And the last one was I call her Big Mouth Becca from the Boomers.
Yeah, I don't like her at all.
I know that they look up to her, the younger people, because they do know she's a good cook, but I don't like some of the things she says, and so that's why I call her Big Mouth. So I apologize. Because
Big Mouth Becca.
I know that's a personal thing.
It's just funny because now you're coming up with nicknames, whereas I'm usually the one who nicknames everyone.
Well, I can't help it because she said some stuff previously that I didn't agree with, and I thought it was loud and obnoxious and unnecessary. But she made a snapper puttanesca. A puttanesca, it's like a tomato-ish sauce. It's Italian, and polenta, and she also made some clams, not really for what was in the meat that's in the clams, but to flavor the puttanesca sauce. And the polenta also had beer in it. And her dish was the best of everyone, so she won the challenge. So, now, are you ready for the next one? The next one was episode 11, sorry.
Well, we're not even going to talk about that last episode or grade it or anything. Like, did you even go over who lost?
Okay.
Did you even go over who?
Sorry.
I'm just going to rush through everything because I'm a fucking idiot. I mean, Safi, you could tell who was going to go home the whole episode. You know, you had these two contestants, and for personal religious reasons, they can't drink beer.
Well,
and it's
why are you making fun of that?
Because it's like, fuck you. You're a fucking master chef.
No,
you got to be able to do fucking anything.
No,
I mean, you're on this show. Anyone could be on there, and you got to be on there. You can take a sip of beer, and God will forgive you, or whatever the fuck you believe in. Drink a fucking sip of beer.
Don't do that.
And also, there was that thing where it was like Fatima was going to get the cowboy guy to taste her sauce, but then the cowboy guy got called up to the balcony, and I don't recall anyone else tasting her sauce.
No,
So once again, she was being irresponsible. Her sauce was gooey and shit, and she didn't even have anyone taste it.
Okay.
She deserved to go home.
Okay.
She should have gone home weeks ago. These chefs suck, Safi. These chefs are weak. They are mediocre.
Okay.
You thought last season was bad? This season is like amateur hour on steroids because they got rid of Anna last week, so it's like, fuck you.
Okay, well, the bad ones, before Marco has a meltdown, which it sounds like he's already had it, we have 3 bad people, and I'll just talk about the other 2, and then I'll get to the one who lost. We have, I guess her nickname is Jeet, which I thought that was a male name. She's the Indian woman from the Millennials.
Jeet India.
She made a beer battered fish with chutney, and chutney can be really, really good. But they picked her because they thought it looked awful, but it tasted good. They actually liked it. And it's just that it didn't look that good. And then there was a seasoning part that they had a problem with it. It could have had more, but they really did like it. So I knew right then and there, she was not going to go home. Then from Gen X, we have Daniela. She made a beer poached shrimp with jasmine rice. The shrimp was good, but Joe said, quote, the dish lacks gravitas. I have no idea what that means. It didn't look good. I don't know what he means by that. Or it wasn't a Masterchef or a Michelin star quality dish. I have no idea. That's very general. So anyway, now we get to the loser, Fatima. Fatima is a medical doctor, and she's Gen Z. She's probably very smart.
Well, she wasn't smart enough to take a fucking sip of beer. She wasn't smart enough. She made barbecue. She made like an American barbecue dish. And this is what I'm saying. You have these contestants, these certain contestants. They know how to make one type of food, which is like their own culture's food. Yeah. And they don't know how to cook anything else. And it's like, I'm sorry, you're not a master chef. A master chef can do anything. A master chef can taste beer. A master chef, because it's like that other season, they have vegans on the show. I think they tasted the meat that they cooked with. So I really think like they should have sent her home at like the beginning of the episode. It should have been like, you remember there was that Worst Cooks in America Celebrity Edition where they had that girl on there from the Orange is the New Black show, and she like refused to eat some like gross food even though she lost like a competition, and she literally just walked off the show. Like, it should have been like that. It should have been like, oh, okay, you're not gonna taste the beer? Okay, you can go home and you can go to hell.
No, they're not going to do that.
Why?
Because it's discrimination.
No, it's not. It's real life.
No. What she should have done.
She's not a master chef.
Marco, be quiet. So anyway, I think these people who have a religious thing about not eating a certain food, which I understand, that's the religion, and Marco should.
Marco,
be quiet.
Fuck it. Fuck
Marco
that. Fuck that. It's master chef.
She shouldn't have been.
It's
on
not
the show.
amateur chef. Yeah.
That's the thing.
If you
she should not have tried for the show.
Yeah.
And then even the other people, like the ones who are highly, and they've had this, they're highly allergic to like fish, for example, shellfish or something, and I think, from what I remember, I don't think any of these people ever win because they're too much. I mean, somebody who eats something.
Well, Dara won.
So what? I'm talking about people who have a bad allergy, or right here, this woman, she's never had beer because she's not allowed to have alcohol. So, and plus, she made a barbecue sauce. She's never made barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
She did make chicken. She made I don't know what it was. She did something with the chicken, and that's something that she makes, but it was dry. So, and then the sauce was too thick, and she even knew that. She said she knew what barbecue sauce is supposed to look like. It's supposed to be saucier and thinner. This was like I don't even know, like a pudding or something. I can't explain. But she knew, and she wasn't going to make it. But this is the thing. If you have these very big drawbacks, because you know in cooking, they're either going to, for these kinds of shows, they're going to have a barbecue maybe competition. They're going to have something where you use wine, or, you know, where you put the alcohol in it and set it on fire. They're going to do these types of dishes, one of them. And if you can't drink alcohol because of a religious thing, then you shouldn't be on the show. So anyway, she got sent home, and she was from Gen Z. So it was...
Get wrecked!
It probably was advantageous that, you know, Michael had made this decision to get the cowboy off, because cowboy is Gen Z too.
And I would also say it's funny because Safi, she got sent home for cooking barbecue. Next episode was a team challenge involving barbecue. So it was really good she got sent home, because she would have gotten sent home next episode anyway. She would have gone home with Arthur, Horatio, and all those other bitches.
Okay, now I think we're ready for the next episode. The next episode is it's another team challenge, and really, I really hate these team challenges, because I mean this was really, and even the judges knew this was going to be a big challenge, just because of the environment. They were in a quarry, a rock quarry, and they had to cook for 100 employees. And it's a family business. It's 3 generations of a family. It's the 60th anniversary. They're the biggest sources of sand, rock, and gravel in the country. This is a very big operation. So what is this place like? It's like a desert. It's windy, and there's constant dust blowing. It's dry, and they're having to cook barbecue. So Becca, Big Mouth Becca, and my throat's starting to get dry, but anyway, she had won that last challenge with her puttanesca, so she got to pick, or she got to be the leader of the team. So the judges put Gen Z with boomers and put Gen X with millennials. And the boomers, Gen Z, is blue, and the other team is red. And they had a choice of making a hamburger, a side, and a sauce, and then the other team would make a chicken sandwich, a side, and a sauce. Okay, Marco, can you take over?
Yeah. Well, this episode, I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it was hilarious.
I hated it.
There were so many things about it that made it hilarious. But again, I'll say that, like, there's not really much of anyone there that I want to win the season. I'm really not, like, enthused about anyone, except for the cowboy guy. But I mean, another thing about this episode was that it really seemed for a while like one team would lose, and then it became clear that they wouldn't, because something happened with the captain of one team. And so what happened was, like, each team got stuck with an entree. They didn't really get to choose, or they got
had a choice of 2.
They got to choose the sides or something, but then they didn't get to choose the main thing. So the red team, what was really funny was they put Arthur as the captain of the red team, and you knew right off the bat that he was going to do terribly, because he's Arthur. He's done terribly the whole season. He's like a contestant who should have gone home like the second episode.
Yeah.
You know, he's just not fit to be there either. And the whole episode, it's really funny because he wasn't really listening to anyone. Like, because he was so focused on, like, trying to get the food out, and so he wasn't listening to anyone.
He was in his own head.
And so, like, at the end of the episode or something, when they ran out, because they kept on running out of slaw, running out of another element on the dish. I think they ran out of fries at the end, too.
No, they didn't have fries. They didn't have any fries.
Oh, yeah. Well, they ran out of something else, though. And at the end, Gordon said, "We've run out of slaw!" And then right after that, Arthur said, "We've run out of slaw." Like, he wasn't even listening to Gordon. And it was really funny.
Well, no, one of them... See, I rewatched this episode because...
No, this happened at the very end, Safi, remember?
Yeah,
at the very end.
But one of his people, she said, "We're going to run out of slaw. We need to make..."
No, that
more."
wasn't the same thing.
Well, but she
This was a different thing.
It.
No, that was a different part.
Okay, well...
This
yeah,
happened at the end.
She said it at the beginning, though.
They ran out at the beginning, and then they ran out at the end. They ran out of slaw twice, Safi.
Well, what the problem was, they were going too slow. And I don't know what they were doing. They were just like taking 10 years, and they could have, if they'd gone faster, it would have been okay. And I didn't know what the cowboy was doing because I thought, here he is. He's used to cooking for huge groups of people in a short amount of time. And burgers is probably something that they make a lot where he works. And he was just asked to do the buns. So you're talking about food for 100 people. So they had to shape hamburgers for 100 people. And they wanted, what I'm saying was, what's he doing with the buns? He's buttering them so they can be toasted because they decided they wanted to toast them, which some people don't want their buns toasted, so that kind of confused me. Another thing with the coleslaw, which I'm not really understanding, but they needed to add vinegar because if they liked the burgers, the judges liked them. There was bacon with them, too.
Yeah, that was the thing that the judges said at the end of the episode, was that the red team had the best dish. Yeah. If they had gotten their act together, they would have won easily.
Yeah.
But they were, Arthur was just a trash captain, as we knew that he would be. And that's something that I pointed out to Safi over and over again, was that in these team episodes... it really exposes people, and Safi says that she doesn't like that. And it's like, well, why not? It just exposes the fact that there's all these people there who don't deserve to be there. They should all be sent home.
It really exposes them.
Yeah.
And they really had, like a chipotle sauce. They had this bacon and Swiss cheese and the burger. That actually sounds good to me, and I don't even like burgers that much. And, then in the other team, we had a big... this went back and forth between the teams on the weakest player in the group. And on the Rebecca team, Big Mouth Becca team, they have Horatio. Horatio is a boomer. And so he was like his way or the highway mood. And he was trying to... He was in charge of cooking the chicken. Well, they were taking the skin off, which is a bad thing because the skin kind of keeps the flavor and the moisture in. So that had a tendency, they could have dried it out, sorry. And then, so when in 30 minutes in, the judges had to taste a sample of each team's dish.
Now, the blue team... there were several puzzling decisions. Number one, Horatio was put on the
I didn't get that because I thought
chicken.
Adam, the cowboy, would have been cooking the burgers.
Someone who's actually like an alpha chef, not like a beta male chef like Horatio. So like he made this really puzzling decision to take the skin off of the chicken. And it was really funny because the captain, she was talking to Chef Gordon, and he was like, "Whose decision was that? What the fuck Or no, wait, no, it was Joe. Because Joe was like, what the hell?
He likes the skin on.
Well, everyone does. That's like the main thing. That's like you eat the crispy skin and then you get to the gross meat part. Like the skin's the best part. And she said it was a group effort or something.
She was trying to be generous, but she knew the whole time, and she said it.
And Safi was like this. She was like, what? She was really upset about it. She almost had a panic attack.
And Rebecca said, Horatio is unknown. He's going to be the doom of us all. And
it's like, well, you're the captain, so, I mean, maybe you should put him in his place.
If Horatio doesn't get it together, we're doomed.
Not really.
That's what Rebecca said.
Take him off. Take him off. Take him off. That's what we kept saying.
Finally, and then what I said was, remember they took the skin off. It had the worry that it was going to get dry and it would be a failure because the sandwich. This is why Rebecca didn't pick the hamburger.
Yeah.
She knew they'd have to form 100 burgers, and that's when they have to be all the same. That isn't an easy task. And then get all the buns, toast, and all that BS. That's why she picked this chicken. But first he took the skin off, and then when Judge Ramsay came up, he said, and then they did this thing about the skin. They decided, okay, keep the skin on. But then he also said it still needs more of moisture, so maybe you should have some kind of marinade. And so then Horatio puts this marinade together, and Ramsay comes over and tastes. He says, oh my God, you all taste this. They taste this way too salty and inedible. And so finally they get him out of there, and he's moved to the slaw.
Oh, and Horatio said, it's not too salty at all. It's perfect.
But he didn't say that in front of the judges, though. At least he knew better than that.
And so he just... It was sort of like a thing of like, where it's like, you're the captain, so why are you allowing him to ruin your
and she really
challenge?
Was trying to do, like, this is important for us even when we go out, quality control.
She's like basically like letting him do his own thing, like, oh, okay, you can do whatever you want, even though it's ruining our team and it's going to cause us to lose.
But anyway, eventually
she put dirt.
Get him off of there.
She put dirt on the grill,
and he really didn't want to be there.
He got really excited about it. He said it was his time to shine, and
But he said before that he went really. I hope they don't put me on the grill. And he got, but then Cornhole joined him, so they actually did really well together. So the chicken was all set, and. So then you come to the end, and the red team with Arthur and the burger, they ran out of coleslaw, and they ran out of something else. I don't remember, and I don't even know. I wrote it down, but they screwed up, and they had this thing. I'm not even sure how it worked, but the people eating the food, when they picked what they liked, the group they liked, they had to shovel some red sand onto this conveyor and blue sand, if they like the blue team, onto the conveyor. And then at the end they have all these explosions, and God, I can't imagine being there. I think that would be scary. They were like mini explosions, but still.
Safi, your face is scary.
I didn't like it. So anyway, they put the.
I was able to. We took a bit of a bet. Safi was certain that the blue team would lose because of Horatio, and then I was certain.
No, I wasn't. I thought the Arthur team would lose.
No, you weren't.
Well,
and we made a bet, and I said that the blue team would win. Safi said that the red team would win.
Well, it was a real toss-up because there were huge problems with both.
They made
teams.
It seem like a toss-up, but as soon as Cornhole and Dirt did a good job on the grill, I knew that they would probably win just because the red team, they had a terrible captain, and he was really quiet. There was another girl on the team, and she was a better captain than him.
So that was the lawyer.
I really think that, I will say also, I think that Chef Gordon should have gone up to Arthur and said, if you're not going to be a good captain, then you give your role to someone else, and you go in the back and you go quit. Like he usually does that.
Yeah,
like
he
when a
does.
captain does a bad job, like he's like, okay, you're going to put someone else in your position, and he didn't do that.
And
So
he's done that. He has done that in the past many times.
I'm going to say a conspiracy here. I think that they were conspiring to get Arthur off the show finally, because
Well, the last 2 weeks. Now he had made it through that last challenge of the last show, but the 2 weeks before that, he'd been in the bottom 3. So yeah, they probably was a conspiracy to get him out.
yeah.
So anyway, Big Mouth Becca's team got 1, and she will get an advantage for the next show next week. So, and Arthur was sent home. And it was very interesting because the lawyer on the team said at the very, very, very beginning that he just didn't seem up for the task. And if he portrays this kind of weakness, it will pass on to the rest of the team. And she was right. So, and when they had a dish, they had a food that could have won easily, but he did not. And what was really weird is he has a whole big staff that he manages, and that's why they thought he would do better, and it didn't show. And even the judges said they knew this, and they thought this is his time to show that he has this staff and he's really good at managing them. He's a successful business owner, and it didn't translate into this challenge. So that was it. So
I would give this episode a B+. I thought it was hilarious. It was even more hilarious watching Safi react to it, because
God.
she was like, "What? What's going on? Take him off! Take Horatio off the grill! Get him out of here!"
Well, he would
He
not
sucks.
listen to anything. And if he would have said that in front of Judge Ramsay, which that's happened to other people in the past, where they argue with him about what
Yeah.
he tells them, he has gotten so mad. The Hell's Kitchen Ramsay would
And gotten mad for a lot less too. Like there were several infamous things of like, there was this, and they were really irritating too. There was this one time where there was this guy, and he was using a thermometer to measure the temperature of the meat, and Gordon sent him home for doing that, for using a thermometer to measure the temperature on food. Because apparently you're not supposed to do that if you're a professional chef. And it's like, well, I don't really care. So, I mean, he sent people home for a lot less than that. Like, just little types of things like that. And that was very infamous because he really deserved to continue being there in Hell's Kitchen. Everyone was upset about it. People mentioned that as one of the top 10 times that someone didn't deserve to go home. And, so, Horatio should have gone home. And I hope he isn't there for much longer. But then again, everyone there kind of sucks.
Well, they're going to do a tag team challenge next week.
Yeah, and Horatio is going to probably be with Cornhole by the looks of it. And that's going to be really hilarious.
Because that's another one they need to send. He's just... he's stuck in his ways, and that kind of goes with being a boomer male. Sorry, but
he's a true boomer.
Times. Yeah,
he's a boomer.
He's a boomer with
all the way.
He's stuck in his ways. So,
and Cornhole's like
from Masterchef, you can't be stuck in your ways.
She's like a monster, so she's gonna get really upset with him and probably tear him to pieces with her claws. Right, Safi?
Yeah,
she was getting drunk and everything in the last episode.
That first episode with the beer, I think she got drunk. Because she's really not very big, and I saw her drinking the beer. And, she has taste.
I don't think she's old enough to drink beer.
Oh, hon, they're all, the youngest one is Adam. He's like 23.
No, I still don't.
Adam are really
That doesn't
young.
matter. I still don't think she's old enough to drink beer. Sorry,
That's BS.
it's
Okay.
true.
BS.
You're not old enough to do anything except
So
for.
anyway, that's it. And for me, the first one, I give it a higher grade, but not really. I don't know. I give it a B minus, and then the second episode just drove me insane. And I don't think it was the best place to do any kind of challenge because of all the dust. And even when they did that blow up to show which team won, because what happened at the end, the powder of the team who won blew up in the air so they could see it was the chicken team. And all that just sprayed all kinds of sand and dust everywhere. And it's just like, oh God. Just thinking about that makes me sick. So, and they said that. The judges said this was the, where is it? They were talking about, they said it was the hardest, it was hot and windy and dusty. It's one of the most challenging places they've ever held a team challenge. So, I don't know. God, I'll just give it a C. Neither episode, the beer thing, I don't really agree with either.
Because there wasn't really any dish that looked like it was good to eat, except for I thought. Well, I know Safi won't agree.
Like his looked kind of good.
Oh, okay, so you do admit it. Oh, I would also say I thought that the best dish was his fish tacos. I really like fish tacos. Safi's kind of like a.
No, I don't care for it, but it did the way he had it presented. He did a really good job.
Oh, there's a lot of times where we go to a Mexican restaurant, and instead of getting the usual, I'll get fish tacos because it's like that's the only chance I'll get to have fish tacos, and I really like them when they're really good.
I forgot. I was going to say this one, he irritates me. This is Bert, or whatever his name is. I call him Mud Brain. But he said at the beginning, Ramsay put the teams together. He put Chinzy with the Boomers. And so right after they interview him, and he says, well, the Boomers are really slow. I don't know how that's going to affect us, but we're really on top of things, so maybe we can pull them through or something like that. And I'm like, what the hell? Who do you think you are?
Oh, he was right about the Boomers ruining everything. I mean, the Boomers almost did ruin the team.
It was Horatio.
It was also the captain because she didn't have any balls until it was like almost too late. Like she was just going to let him ruin the team. And unfortunately, that's like a signature of like a bad captain is like not taking control and letting like some bad player ruin the team.
Well, but they did end up winning, but still,
yeah,
it was very uncomfortable. I mean, I had to get all these details because I was so flabbergasted during the whole thing that
like serving chicken without skin was a bad idea. And honestly, I don't care if the chicken tasted really good. If I got served a burger on one side and then chicken without skin, I would immediately pick the burger because I would say like, wow, where's the fucking skin? I want skin on my chicken, But then again, I would also say, you're serving a burger without fries? Ugh.
And Joe said that too. Ugh. He said, where's the fries?
Yeah, so both dishes had problems for me. But it wasn't as bad as last year with the Alabama girl where she was like, maybe next time I should stop thinking about myself and start thinking about the children because I was thinking about myself the whole episode. Remember that, Safi?
Yeah.
That was funny.
Weird. So that's it. So if you like this video, and I just wanted to say Marco's little comment about the LGBT community She was really good.
No, she wasn't. She was trash.
No, I thought she was good.
She was a weirdo. She was a mentally ill weirdo. She was an idiot. She deserved to go home episodes and episodes ago, and they kept her there to fulfill a quota because that's what they like to do on these shows now. Fill quotas instead of have good cooks.
Okay, well,
because the Ohio guy got sent home. He didn't deserve to go home. They sent him home because he doesn't fit the agenda. They kept her, and then she got to have her little speech in the finale where she made her gender dishes, and it sucked, and it was trash, and it was an embarrassment. I made a male dish and a female dish because I'm male and female at the same time, even though I'm not. Fuck you!
Marco, don't say that. So anyway,
it's
I
true.
don't agree with him saying that. But
well, it's true.
She started out good. And for a few episodes,
there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who don't agree that the Earth is round, and just because they disagree doesn't mean they're right. Safi.
You are such a stinker.
It's true.
So anyway, I just wanted to say that.
Okay.
I never got to say it, but anyway, and it was bad that they sent the Ohio guy home because he improved, and they always appreciate that. At least they have in the past. Where somebody has started off and they were kind of weak and they listened to them. See,
he was the only person there who was a master chef. He could do anything and everything. Every single time they thought he would fail, he won and succeeded. And then they sent him home anyway because he doesn't fit the agenda. He doesn't fit the quotas.
So anyway, the beer guy wins.
Yeah.
And he wasn't. It just was like the best of the worst. So, and he even said this, that during his time, between the time he won and now, he's been going to all these places and watching how they cook, because he's trying to expand his repertoire beyond beer. Which, he didn't say that, but that's what he was doing. So anyway, that's it. So, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up.
I really wish that while we did that season, we were calling him Chef Best of the Worst, because...
No, he's a good person.
It's such a funny name.
He's not, to me, he's not that great.
Chef Best of the Worst. Who's going to be the Best of the Worst this season?
Well, I don't know. I think Adam's really good, and I think Michael, who won
I think it'd be funny.
Is good.
It would be really funny if Dirt won the season.
Yeah, that's Mudhead.
That would be...
Who makes disparaging comments about the boomers, which I get real tired of, and I'd like to punch his face
But
in.
that would be the funniest outcome if he won the season. Because
no,
that would be amazing. Or if they had a comeback episode where Anna got to come back and win the season like she deserves to, because I would say, like, she deserves to be Master Chef even though she's at home. Like, nobody else there really compares to her and what she did. Right, Safi?
Whatever.
I mean, we haven't really seen very many dishes that look genuinely good. We haven't seen very many dishes that were like, oh yeah, I wish I knew how to make that. And that's like a tenet of Master Chef, is like seeing really tasty looking dishes.
Whatever. So goodbye, everybody.
Bye!